20 more companies are ready to conduct IPO by the end of 2020. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Clara Antawijaya, and this is Market Headlines. And yes, viewers, the Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, detained Maritime Affairs and Fisheries Minister Edi Prabowo at the early hours of Wednesday. The arrests are related to lobster seed exports.
Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, has detained Maritime Affairs and Fisheries Minister. Separately, KPK Deputy Chairman Nurul Gufron said that the investigators had arrested Edi alongside with a number of ministry officials. They are now undergoing questions, and the arrests are related to the lobster seed exports. For your information, Edi rolled back earlier this year a ban on lobster seed export. His decision is sparkling criticism from the former minister and the fishery watchdogs over sustainability concerns. He reversed the policy in December last year, saying that he would resume the export of lobster seeds to Vietnam due to high demand for the commodity in the fellow Southeast Asian country. From all sources, IDX Channel.
And meantime, the political party that houses the Minister of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, Edi Prabowo, Gerindra, is still waiting for the official information on the arrest made by the Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, on early Wednesday, November 25th.
The political party that houses the Minister of Maritime Affairs and Fishery, Edi Prabowo, Gerindra, is still waiting for official information on the arrest made by the Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, on Wednesday, November 25, 2020. A similar statement came from another Gerindra Deputy Chairman, Rahayu Saraswati Joyo Hadikusumo, who said she did not know about the arrest. Meanwhile, members of the Board of Trustees Gerindra, Sandiaga Uno, and House members from Gerindra, Andre Rosiade, have not responded to the arrest of the Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, Edi Prabowo. Previously, the Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, had arrested Edi Prabowo at Soekarno-Hatta Airport in the early hours of Wednesday. This was confirmed by two deputy chairmen of the KPK, Nawawi Pomolango and Nurul Gufron. Nurul Gufron stated that a further explanation of the case related to Edi and its development will be carried out at the KPK office. He only confirmed that the arrest was related to the export of lobster seeds. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
Moving on to another coverage, the Deposit Insurance Corporations, or LPS, has urged banks to slash lending rates, and the LPS lower the guarantee interest rate by 50 basis points for rupiah deposits and 25 basis points for the foreign currency deposits.
The Deposit Insurance Corporations, or LPS, has reduced guarantee interest rates in an attempt to boost credit demand and aid economic recovery. Guarantee interest rate for rupiah deposits and the commercial banks go down to 4.5%, while rural banks go down to 7%. And for foreign exchange, it goes down to 1%. The interest applies for the period from November 25, 2020 to January 29, 2021.
Menetapkan untuk menurunkan tingkat bunga penjaminan untuk simpanan rupiah di bank umum dan simpanan rupiah di BPR sebesar 50 basis point, serta menurunkan tingkat bunga penjaminan untuk valuta asing sebesar 25 basis point di bank umum. Selanjutnya, tingkat bunga penjaminan tersebut berlaku untuk periode 25 November 2020 sampai dengan 29 Januari 2021.
The LPS has taken several indicators into account while making decisions to cut the deposit interest rate, including the downward trend in the deposit rate, which is expected to continue. This goes along with the decisions of Bank Indonesia to slash its benchmark interest rate. Jakarta, Rajo Pakmo for IDX Channel.
Based on Statistic Indonesia's data, the pre-employment card program in August appeared to be more popular in urban areas at the western part of Indonesia.
The country continues to suffer from the impact of COVID-19 on its workforce. And as a way out, government has set a pre-employment card program which aimed to aid job seekers and laid-off workers by granting them access, funding, and training. However, Statistic Indonesia data has shown that the government's pre-employment card program is facing issues over lower distributions to the eastern part of Indonesia. BPS data revealed that the provinces in the eastern Indonesia recorded the lowest rate of participations in government program. West Papua saw the lowest figure at 0.08% of the total number of pre-employment card recipients, and according to the National Survey on Labor Force study of 300,000 households in August. Meanwhile, Gorontalo trailed at a 0.37%, followed by Papua, North Kalimantan, and North Maluku. The pre-employment card program in August appeared to be more popular in the urban area and the western part of Indonesia. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned.
Nama saya Devisa Novel, jabatan saat ini di IDX Channel adalah sebagai produser dan sekaligus presenter program yang dibawakan saat ini dengan nama IDX Second Session Closing, terkait juga dengan kondisi capital market Indonesia dan perkembangannya dari waktu ke waktu. Dan saya sangat senang untuk belajar dan berkecimpung di berita ekonomi, khususnya di capital market.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangita Racong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Dan saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Dan tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. Google Indonesia released the number of new digital platform users for the economic needs in Southeast Asia up to 34%. The increase due to COVID-19 pandemic, which made people switch to digital platform to send sex and meet their demands.
Growth in the number of internet users, especially for the digital transactions, is not only supported by the metropolitan cities in Asian countries, but the highest growth rate are in the non-metropolitan cities. Managing Director of Google Indonesia, Randy Yusuf, said that the growth of the Indonesia's digital economy in 2020 was at $40 billion. And since COVID-19 hit Indonesia, Indonesia's digital economy has increased by 11% compared to 2019 to $44 billion.
Tahun lalu kita report ekonomi digital 40 miliar. Dan sekarang meskipun di masa pandemi ini, pertama, Indonesia masih negara digital ekonomi yang paling besar di Asia Tenggara. Dan growth rate-nya masih tetap double digit, 11%, meskipun di masa pandemi ini. Nanti Pak Alessandro akan memaparkan setelah Indonesia, Vietnam juga double digit. Meskipun masih masa pandemi ini, kita masih terus double digit growth rate dan masih yang paling besar di Asia Tenggara. Dan kita melihat di masa depan 2025, Indonesia akan terus menjadi negara yang paling besar internet ekonomi di Asia Tenggara dengan size-nya kira-kira sekitar 124 miliar US dollar.
In the future, the development of internet economy will be more promising. This is seen from the data collected by Google Indonesia, whereas 94% of the internet users will continue to use the digital platform. There are several sectors that have a potential to boost Indonesia's digital economy, including e-commerce, online media, transportations, and food and online travel applications. Jakarta, Muhammad Olga for IDX Channel.
What is your favorite kind of revolutions? Is it French revolutions, industrial revolutions, or Russians probably? Well, mine is digital revolutions. Some people say that the digital age is a fourth industrial revolutions, except this revolutions has potential to transform every whole of our daily life. And from reshaping how people make decisions, enhancing customer experiences, and creating new business models to optimize value chains for unprecedented levels of efficiency. And how far along is Indonesia in digital revolutions? We can answer that through the next graphic, which is the growth of internet economy. So let's see through the next graphic. Here it is through your screen. We can see Indonesia's internet economic growth. So in 2019, the number was in 40 billion US dollar. But however, through the graphic, we can see that in 2025, it is expected to grow by 133 billion US dollar. Such massive growth happened in Indonesia. And Indonesia also possesses sufficient capital for digital transformations and for tapping the potential, since 180 million of populations had internet access. Of the 180 million internet users, 150 million are active users and 105 million are online service users. So can you imagine, of the total of 83,000 of 218 villages, almost 85% can access to 4G network services. This internet privilege has impact on e-commerce as well. In 2022 research by Google and Temasek, e-commerce remains to be the main driving force of Indonesia's digital economic growth, with the gross merchandise value growing 54% annually. And the good news is, it is expected to grow significantly by the year of 2025. So curious much? Let's see through the next graphic. And here it is through your screen. We can see that Indonesia's e-commerce grow, which is in 2015, Indonesia's e-commerce value reached 1.7 billion US dollar. And in 2019, it went up to be 20.9 billion US dollar. But however, in 2025, here it is. The good news is, it is expected to hit 82 billion US dollar. And not only Google Indonesia, but the Indonesian E-commerce Association say that the coronavirus social restrictions made a significant impact towards the growth of the online shopping transactions. And this growth in e-commerce transactions is confirmed by Tokopedia and Bukalapak, which is the two most prominent Indonesian e-commerce. And Tokopedia even recorded in 2020's food and beverages sales had grown threefold during the pandemic. And meanwhile, Bukalapak claims that the sales, its platform had increased up to 50% in June this year, which is 3 times more compared to the last year's transactions. And not only e-commerce, but there's another sector that got a significant impact. It is online media. So let's see the growth in the next graphic. Here it is through your screen. We can see regarding Indonesia's online media growth. In 2015, Indonesia's online media value reached 0.6 billion US dollar only. But then it went up significantly in 2019 to be 3.5 billion US dollar. Whereas in 2025, it is expected to hit $9 billion. Such massive growth happened in Indonesia, and online media in Indonesia market is expected to witness growth over the forecast period, driven by the proliferations of internet users and a high adoption rate of the smartphone and portable devices. Shift from print media to online advertising, coupled with technological advancements, is expected to boost online media market growth over the forecast period. If demand for the digital services continue to rise, government will need to invest in infrastructure and upgrade existing systems, especially in countries where slow internet speeds limit the digital services. And step aside from that, there is one product of internet that takes over the world. What is that? It is ride-hailing. Ride-hailing is indeed a relationship that engages with digital financial services with the efficiency and the really on demand in here in Indonesia. So let's see the growth in the next graphic. Here it is, we can see that in 2015, Indonesian ride-hailing value reached $0.9 billion. And last year in 2019, the number went up to be $5.7 billion. And meanwhile, it is expected and forecasted in 2025, the number will reach $18 billion. Impressive, isn't it? As well as a ride-hailing user, I must admit that this sector has a huge potential in Indonesia. If you've been to Jakarta recently, you will no doubt have to spend more time than you wish stuck on the traffic. Another certainty is that you spotted a tide of green-clad motorcycle drivers with the passengers streaming by your window, and these drivers belong to the two ride-hailing service, which is Grab and Gojek. And to be honest, personally, I'm at the point that I cannot live without ride-hailing services, and even better, ride-hailing companies have enabled drivers to adapt to the crisis by transitioning to food delivery. And the ride-hailing companies have become the digital platforms that aggregate many services, making it possible for drivers to pivot to services that have seen demand hold steady or grow during the pandemic. And as viewers, to sum up, digital economy was already rising before the crisis, even driven by the gradual shift in the consumer taste, demographic change, and new technologies. But the pandemic has accelerated that trend. So we hope that with or without the pandemic, Indonesia's digital economy can go beyond. And stay tuned on Market Headlines, because we will be right back after this quick break.
Adi akan ada proyek bikin hunian atau tempat tinggal?
Konsepnya adalah membawa kemudahan masyarakat sekitar Jakarta untuk bekerja di pusat kota. Total saat ini Adi Komputer Property mengembangkan 11 titik ya. Kalau Mas baru beli sekarang mungkin udah ke 3.000 sekian pembeli.
Kita bisa mulai merasakan fase 1 di tahun berapa?
Di tahun 2021.
pemirsa, nama saya Mangi Teracong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Dan saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Dan tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. So let's take a look at Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 5,735.14, and then approaching the closing time in the first session, the index was on the level of 5,714.22, and then the index was showing a weakening trend by the second session closing time. The index was closed at the level of 5,686.12, and in short, JCI went down 0.26%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got trade as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 0.63%. We got MISC industry that went down 2.22%. Agriculture went down 1.27%, and manufacture that went down 1.27%. And moving on to the top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. We got BBRI that went up 2.86%. We got UNTR that went up 8.03%. We got PPRO that went up 8.51%, and BRIS that went up 1.85%. And meantime, for the top losers for today's trading, we got BBCA that went down 2.36%. We got Telcom that went down 2.09%. We got Astra International that went down 4.31%, and ANTM that went down 2.43%. And yes, viewers, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at the level of 14,130. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. I was closed at the level of 14,198. In summary, rupiah went down 0.45%. Indonesia Stock Exchange stated that by November 2020, 46 new companies have listed their shares in the exchange, while 20 more companies are ready to conduct IPO by the end of 2020 or no later than the first quarter of 2021.
In the CEO Networking 2020 event, President Director of the Indonesia Stock Exchange, Inano Jayadi, stated that 20 companies in the IPO pipeline are ready to become listed companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange by the end of 2020 or no later than the first quarter of 2021. In addition, until now, the number of new companies listed on the stock exchange has reached 46, so that the number of companies listed has reached 708.
Terima kasih kepada OJK dan seluruh pelaku pasar yang telah membantu Bursa dalam memfasilitasi 46 perusahaan baru saham untuk go public sampai tanggal 24 November 2020, sehingga turut mengantarkan jumlah perusahaan tercatat di Bursa Efek Indonesia mencapai 708 perusahaan.
Inano added that the number of investors in the capital market has now reached 3.39 million, or grew by 37% throughout 2020. And retail investor activity in the capital market has also increased, reaching 126%. From Jakarta, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel.
To prevent the transmissions of COVID-19, the COVID-19 Handling Task Force ensures that the coordinations that has been conducted with the Ministry of Home Affairs and Indonesia's National Police and all parties involved in holding simultaneous regional head elections in 2020.
The COVID-19 Handling Task Force stated that it had coordinated with the Ministry of Home Affairs, the National Police, and all parties involved in holding simultaneous regional head elections in 2020, including the regional government. Spokesperson for the COVID-19 Handling Task Force, Wicky Adrian, said that the task force and government always monitor the zoning development of 319 districts and cities that will carry out regional elections as the basis for implementing activities.
Selain itu, upaya pencegahan lainnya yang dilakukan ialah melakukan mendesain peraturan tahapan pemilihan serentak sedemikian rupa agar tidak memperbesar peluang penularan COVID-19. Sampai saat ini, berbagai pelaporan pelanggaran maupun hasil evaluasi simulasi pilkada kami jadikan sebagai bahan perbaikan ke depannya. Salah satu bukti bagaimana pemerintah merespon dan adaptif terhadap perkembangan yang ada, yaitu perubahan PKPU nomor 6 menjadi PKPU nomor 13, maupun Satgas yang terus memfasilitasi penyediaan alat testing untuk keperluan screening.
Until now, various reports of violations as well as the results of simulation evaluation of regional head elections are material for future improvements. In addition, the government is responsive and adaptive to developments. One of them is by continuing to facilitate the provision of testing tools for screening purposes. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
Here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Clara Antawijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.